Holy shit, indeed, the squad. Yep. Giga chat times 4. I see they made their own call. Do this.
There he is. Well, hello.
Hello.
Oh my god, he's.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Yeah.
He stopped pissing.
Stop pissing.
Man, just mid pissing had to join the call.
Yeah, just on the toilet.
Still pissing.
He's still out there pissing.
Hashtag keep pissing.
Pissing with one hand, joining the party with the other.
Well, we have a cactus
It's
now.
easy.
The god game of the cactus.
The cactus. How are we gonna win? Probably not.
It's gonna be an easy win. With
Easy.
a cactus, with a
Exactly, easy win
snowman,
time.
a tomato, and a captain. Come on,
Captain.
dream team.
You're right.
The dream team.
Got it, boss.
Exactly what he said.
Yeah. Go.
What the sound effects?
Got this. Easy win. Easy win, boys.
Easy.
You got
Oh,
it,
yeah,
boss.
Chris, he's muted. What do we do?
What?
Am I muted?
No. No, Leo was muted.
I should be muted.
We should put it Leo.
This
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah,
Is that
so
why you
good.
wanted him to join the call?
No.
Yeah, excuse me.
No, I just wanted communication. You know, you gotta talk to your
Tactical.
friend.
Oh,
text.
still,
Oh,
exactly.
he's
He's
muted
here.
again. Scam. Call him out. Just call him out and be muted.
The Godzilla champion.
Oh.
I can still hear you, you know?
Yeah, I know. That's why I was saying it.
This guy.
No, okay, I should not say TOS things in that case.
Okay.
Yeah, if he deafens, you can set to us. Actually, no,
What?
I'm
No,
still
don't do
streaming.
that. What in the...
I'm still streaming. Oh, hold up.
Oh,
Alright, we
we
got
reported to Twitch.
to win. Am I gonna get bullied again?
Oh my god. Oh.
Let's go. Oh. I made it. I didn't get bullied for half an hour this time.
Hey.
Not yet.
Not yet. Oh, come on. What do you mean by that?
Just saying, you know. Wise words from the best.
I'm not. I'm following. I just saw Leo jump and still get hit.
Yeah, I did that on purpose.
Did?
It's, oh fuck.
No, I fell. Oh, oh no. I'm flying. I'm getting bullied.
Come here, cactus. We got this.
The boys. And then we just have
Yeah,
this guy
okay.
throwing.
Hey.
Yeah, Jesus Christ, man. Oh my god.
Giga
What is this
chat.
throw?
Oh, that was actually pretty good. What the fuck? He redeemed
Listen.
himself. Holy shit.
Oh wow. Okay, that was high-end tactical
You were saying.
clutch gameplay.
Take everything back.
Yeah.
You were saying.
Wow.
You know, if that fan was any lower, you would have been able to bully me a lot more.
The time will come.
E.
And the time for bullying will come.
Yeah. What if Leo goes out first? What's happening with this guy? He's not wanting to qualify. Oh, he's gone.
Oh, no. Yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah, no, maybe. No.
No.
Captain. The captain, the cactus, and the tomato. And the snowman survived. That sounds like you're a build up to a joke.
Yeah, they all walk into a bar or something.
Yeah.
Down for a drink, and then what happens? It's gonna be Chris's favorite one, the portals.
Oh, please. No. Oh.
Oh, his other favorite, the fruit.
Hey Mary. We're playing Fall Guys for some reason. It's Chris's favorite one.
I'm not too much of a fan of this one.
No,
But,
no, you love this one.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Dodge flying fruit and rest to come in belt.
Oh boy.
Oh, hey, we're at the
We're
back.
all in the back. Yeah.
Let's go, peeps.
We got cheated. Let's go. Me and Snowman and Tomato.
Oh my god, there are so many.
Push them away! Push them away!
That banana's gonna hit me.
Push them!
Push. Girl,
Right.
hold it.
Oh my god, the
Fight,
banana.
man. Fight!
Keep jumping.
Let's go!
I'm gonna make it. I'm getting pushed into where the log goes.
Push it like it's an angry poop. Let's
made it.
go.
I made
Let's
it.
go.
We did
Like
it.
it's I'm getting all beans. We did it,
Did you make
cactus.
it?
Oh,
Oh no,
Oh, the cactus!
he's being bullied by bananas. Oh,
we
that's
tried to grab
you.
him.
No,
We're
we
still in
didn't make it.
No.
How are we still in 6?
How?
We all
Good
made it
rigged.
at like the same time. We got cheated. I got 20 points.
Rigged game. Unbelievable.
Unbelievably rigged. Where's this guy going? What's going on with this guy?
The fruit bullying me. No, boss.
What is this guy
Wants a
doing?
new universe.
The fruit's
trying to
headed out
cheat.
for you.
He's trying to get into Gang Beast.
I can't
Gang
believe
beast.
this man just said that. He's trying to get into Gang Beast.
He picked the wrong game.
Ooh.
Oh,
This is not the main menu in Gang Beast. So.
What's he doing? Good question. I think he's really confused. The fruit may have concussed him.
he made it all the way to the end and now he's just giving up.
Realized there wouldn't be enough.
I don't know what he's doing.
What? Eliminated.
Oh,
Cool.
spin.
Let's leave.
Brr.
Let me leave. I wanna go.
Get out of here.
I'm out. I'm done.
Oh, that was fun.
Yeah.
No. I'm the one throwing us away. No, it's okay, boss.
No, no,
It,
no.
it was all Leo.
What? It's the fruit that's throwing.
Don't
It's
forget.
literally throwing in the air.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. It's just saying.
That last game was good. We all made it and we got cheated out. Yeah, they wanted us gone.
They on purpose kicked us out. Just saying.
We're waiting for the boss to ready off the boss.
Here we go.
There we go. We're all falling. Look at the snowman.
He's so cringe. He was busy dying of cringe. This is the comedian joke.
What? What?
What?
Terrible joke.
Can't hear
What? Oh, you want me to get louder? The terrible joke.
you. Mod check? What?
Chris, you heard me, right, Chris? Damn. Mod check. What is it?
Did someone say something?
Yeah, is someone talking? Hello?
Wow.
What?
Mod check.
I don't hear anything.
I don't hear anything. I don't hear you.
Yeah. Say, where did the hops go?
Yeah, I think we're in FK.
This is abuse.
What?
What? What is this? I've never played this one before. Everyone's flying down this giant hole.
What the hell is this?
I don't know. Leo's became Leo Chris became a fall guy. What is this?
I
No
should-
idea.
Follow
Hated.
SpongeBob.
This is hell.
This is hell.
What are the fruit? Where are we going? Do we just falling down
Ow,
hole?
ow, 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 Mr. Krabs, don't.
Mr. Krabs.
Mr. Crab, leave me alone. Where am I
Krabs
going?
was busy with me. I don't know what he was wanting from me.
No, I missed the thing.
Let me
No,
go.
I missed the. Ah,
He missed it again.
I can't grab the. Yeah, that thing.
The thing that I just grabbed.
Yeah. I did it. Mamma
did it.
mia.
Yeah. Where are we supposed to go? I just jumped off. How did he finish this game?
You need to go into the middle.
Oh, there?
I don't know, where are you?
Okay, qualified.
Oh, easy.
Yeah.
How are we, like,
What was that?
what is happening? Where indeed?
He's throwing again.
How
made
are
it.
we like last place? What? We didn't do that bad, excuse me.
Oh, come on. That's just on purpose. Game.
The game just doesn't like us.
What happened?
I don't know. I'm the one that threw.
I'm not the one who threw, he says.
Is it because we don't like the puzzle game?
Yeah.
It's because we don't like it.
Now it's gonna give it to us.
Yeah, it's gonna give us the
This
best
time
one.
it was the gob that threw,
Who's it gonna be this time?
Nah.
not me.
I'm
So-
looking at. I'm looking at him. I'm looking at
It's
the
a
person it's gonna be.
professional thrower.
Waiting on the God Gamer. He's still spectating.
This game sucks. Now why
The
would you
boss
make
is
that
spectating.
common, Mr. Hops underscore?
Yeah, who's Mr. Hobbs on the sky? I'm Mr. Hobbs.
Exactly.
Is it?
This is the one, Weskeries.
This is definitely the one. 100%. We got this.
Yep. First
Chris
time
is
for
gonna
Chow.
carry.
This is the run. We got this.
Yeah, we've already got. This is our third win. Come on. You know, if we just like talk it into existence, that works, right?
That's how it
worked
works.
out for everyone. Yeah.
This is the one.
This is the one. We need Chris to say it. Chris is the only one that hasn't said it.
This is the one.
There we go.
Oh, wee.
This is the one.
This is the one.
The one.
The
One.
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 The one.
The one.
This is the chosen one.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, it's the chosen one.
Bit anticlimactic. It's taking so long.
Wait, is it going to be the glitch stuffer again?
You've
So
been
we just
shadow
don't-
banned again.
We spoke into. Oh wait, Pasha populating.
Ah, yes. Now
I'm
that's
looking
what I'm
big.
talking about. A classic.
A hit paradise.
Uh-oh. Paradise, yes.
Hit
Yes,
pa-
that's
this
what it
man can't read. He is fucking.
It's
He is on a
paradise.
different planet. This guy.
This is- I haven't streamed this long. I'm tired. My sleep deprived just to get the better of me.
This man is on a different planet.
I am. I'm stoned.
People gov language. People gov the language. Yep.
That's already talking like a fucking grandpa. With paradise.
Oh
It is
my
Not
god.
that old.
We're governor.
Definitely.
Oh my god, now.
Alright, Friday the 13th will be better, right, Leo? Totally won't be broken like last time.
Yep.
What
If I forget.
last time? Got kicked and then you lagged out.
Yeah, and they're just like, alright, next game, I guess.
Me and Boss
I
are
don't
together.
like this anymore.
Oh, what happened?
Your cheese.
I got squashed by 5 men.
Oh no.
Wait, hold up.
You wanna
Anyway,
brief this?
Oh.
just ignore what I said. That sounds
Leo,
A
I
bit
see
sus.
you. I see you all the way
Cool, we
back
cool.
there.
We got this.
ow, ow.
I made it.
Surely,
And then Leo
surely.
made it. We don't
Oh
care.
no, who is this guy in the
Shut the
back?
fuck up.
Who is? Oh my god, he is throwing.
Wait,
No,
he's
that,
throwing.
nah. I didn't do any.
What? Oh my god.
It's free.
Where?
It's free.
Wow, how did that happen?
What happens?
What? Oh my god, guys, jeez, get your shit together.
Oh Jesus, we've all thrown a game. Now it's my turn.
We keep losing in the first round.
No, boss, you're not the bad luck champ. This is it. This is truly the one here.
Oh, yes, your turn to throw.
it's just because of Hops it's made paradise.
Yeah, he threw us all off.
Yeah, it purred. It wasn't me who threw. It was all Chris.
Copium, no.
No.
Copium, this is it. We are gonna make it to the second round.
That's what happened, man.
What happened?
I
What happened?
died.
Have a look at the chat.
Hit paradise. Pin it, pin it, pin it.
It's already pinned.
Pinned.
It paradise.
I want to pin it. I can't pin anything. Chris, my shot.
Hit paradise.
Hit paradise. See, it said hit paradise. There you go. Wait, Chris can pin. Chris, you pin it. You be the pin comment. I don't even think Chris knows how to pin stuff. Hit paradise. Oh, he knows how to pin. He's smart. Chris learned how to pin, chat. Well done.
Easy.
Easy.
Oh, for fuck. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna throw this one for sure.
No, we don't have. I don't have the teammate to follow this time.
Okay, no, but we have the God Gamer with us this time.
The puzzle master.
God, again.
He knows. He
Puzzle
has to
time.
know.
Puzzle man. People. Let's go. Let's keep losing on the first round. Woo. Are we all the way to back?
Yeah, that's perfect. We can follow everyone else.
Show me the way, Mr. Cheese. Mr. Among Us Cheese.
Should be the second one, I think.
Everyone's jumping through the second one.
Right now, I don't fucking know.
Wait.
They're all jumping back here.
Wait, where? Which? What? Oh,
There wasn't that one.
No, it's
I
not
see.
this one.
Oh,
They're
no.
jumping over here.
Oh, is it this one? Okay, sure. Oh yeah, that was the one.
Oh yeah. Nice.
Okay.
Now I'm catch up. Let's see.
This guy jumped in this one. I think it's this one.
Is it?
Yeah, I think it's this one up here.
Oh yeah. We good so far.
Okay.
Was that the right one?
Oh, jump.
Bananas.
Oh, the block game was back
Oh.
here.
Bomb.
I don't even know anymore.
I don't even. I'm with the snowman.
Yeah, that's bad. I'm
Show the way,
snowman.
snowman.
I have no brain. It's filled with
this one.
snow. It's
Someone
just
jumped through
snow.
this one. No, we went back to here.
It's the one closest to the to where you land on the right.
Okay.
With this one. Oh, jump.
That,
Chris went through the wrong one.
but that's right. That's not.
I went through the wrong. I went to the one of the opposite. Leo lied to us.
What?
Leo.
Leo's throwing.
I
He
am
told us
not
the wrong one.
My God.
Is it this one? I
Is
wrote it. That it was.
Oh. That was the closest bro you led.
It was for the one where I was.
Title where you led.
Oh no, that's not it. Chris, don't go through the one I went through.
Oh no, this followed you.
We are all here now. Holy shit, man.
Oh. Chris,
Brother, I should really stop following the captain, but I'm just like, yeah, it's the cap.
It's the
Captain,
guy.
that's right.
I need to follow the cap.
Was it this one?
Oh, wait, go this way? Oh shit.
Leo, what happened? It was the closest one I right, was it?
I threw that one as the prophecy has been foretold.
Prophecy. Oh,
Now we've all thrown a game. That means now the next one is surely the one.
Oh yeah.
yeah. What's that emote that we use there?
Puzzle time.
Puzzle time.
all thrown a game. Now this is the big one.
You know, I get the feeling that you're talking around me. And, you know, using some fucking Zen riddles or some shit. When they call me in, it ain't a fucking joke. It ain't about who stole some fucking boots and cigarettes from the barracks.
All of us to throw this one.
When they call me in, it's your fucking neck.
Okay.
When they call me in, you're gonna live or you're gonna fucking die. This is the fucking come to Jesus moment. And I was not born on a fucking turnip truck, man. And I was not born at night.
The trick to it was to guess.
I was born in a bright fucking sunny day, man, and I've been doing this for a long time. Do not think I'm fucking new. Do not think you can play me.
Feels like that. This is how Leo
Let's
is.
get to the fucking nitty gritty here. What the
Fuck
fuck happened?
That's Steven. He was waiting for Steven to stop talking. That's a trick.
This is our come to Jesus moment, people.
Yes, if we get this win, we can.
I wonder what
go
the trick
sleep happy.
was.
Yes.
If
I
we
wish
can't, we
we
all
knew
sleep
it, because
depressed.
holy fuck, that is so
No, we just
terrible.
need to win one more game. That's it.
We go to we win.
We're gonna win
All
this
night,
next one no
boys.
matter what. As long as it's not puzzle time.
Puzzle time, puzzle time, puzzle time.
The karma is gonna hit us. We're instantly getting puzzled. I'm calling it. Oh.
Oh, a classic. No, see, this is that we have qualified every single time we've been here. I'm pretty sure. Except
No,
once.
it goes, except
Except one.
that one time.
Except that one time.
Except that time.
But we're gonna make up for it.
That one time.
That
you
one
say.
time we don't talk about. No, forget that ever happened. Oh, this is the big one. No one's throwing. We've all thrown before. This time no one will.
No, now it has a circle. Go, go, go. I got pulled.
Ah, same.
Wait, Chris is cheating. You see how far he went? Jeez.
He's hacking. What the fuck?
Hey guys, we gotta win.
He's there. I'm getting bullied by this thing.
Oh, I feel over it.
I got through the gate. This thing that bullies me all the time.
Holy shit.
I'm right behind Chris. Chris, I see you.
It's time for a test of faith and luck.
You're all gonna go through the middle, best of luck.
No, I'm gonna follow Leo.
Bro,
Me and Leo have this.
Jesus is not with me today. Ow. But I'm gonna try it one more time. Nope. Oh.
Oh, me and Leo.
Oh,
God,
no. This is fine, this is fine, this is fine.
The boss made it.
The god gamer. No, I'm throwing.
I flew.
We're all throwing! Besides the god gamer.
Fuck!
Oh no, I just saw you two fall.
No, guys, wait. No.
One last fucking place. Well, man. Oh no, we saved it!
Me and Chris qualified
We're
together.
cool, no aware. We're back in business, see, I told you.
All part of the plan.
Yep.
There we go, clueless.
Paul. Clueless. Yeah, clueless for what's about to happen next round. Unaware.
It's gonna be puzzle time.
Yeah, exactly, that's what I was thinking too. It's gonna give us the puzzle one now.
Me and Chris both finished at the same time. We jumped either side of each other. The team, the score. We did it. The god gamer carried.
Yep, he finished first.
And then it was me, Chris. No, and then it was Leo, Chris, me. 7 squads remaining.
Puzzle one next. Oh, for the love of God, no, please. Anything but that. Even the tail one, please.
No.
Puzzle time, no.
No. Please.
Us, this one, you
It's-
see.
Chris, you got this. It's your favorite one.
Oh. Yeah.
Other one.
There's,
that I can't do.
unless there's like a light blue alien type of blob creature standing in front of me, and I just jump against his butt and drop
A butt?
to the abyss.
There's no light blue. There's a light yellow.
Okay, I think we're good.
No, we just all have to
He kills
fail
me.
at the start, and then Chris just carries. That's what
No,
happens.
no. We do this together.
Do it together as a team.
Do it together. No.
Gotta stand back here.
Ow.
Oh, the barrier came up. Barrier. Come on. Me and the god game again, bullied. No.
No!
We made it. We're here.
There's too many. There's too many.
There's
Some
so
have to
many.
fall. Some have to fall.
I'm
We
gonna
can't
be
all
one
be
of
here,
four.
people.
Push. I push some. I go be toxic.
Oh shit.
Oh, wait. Oh, karma. Ooh. It was a joke. It was just a prank. Okay.
Here's the point, bro. Here's the point.
Wait,
Oh, I
you can
found a
just make a
hexagon.
jump.
What?
Hold it. Oh wait, someone just died. I'm not gonna try risk that jump. No, mamma mia.
Oh shit. No, the roast lord! Monka.
Okay, I made it. I made it past the hex wings.
Uh-oh.
This is the furthest I've made it.
Oh shit.
Let's go.
Choked it.
That guy's
Oh,
on
Leo's
top of the
carrying.
spinning thing. What the?
It's Leo and the god game and I carry him.
Oh wait, did you die?
Yeah, as soon as I said I made it, they decided to throw a fan in my face.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Oh. Leo, you got this, Leo. For the boys.
The god game
The
is
god
with
game
me.
is- Yes. As long as two of us makes it, I think we'll be fine. Leo.
No, the god gamer!
Look, I think we're out.
No, because not everyone finishes this usually.
Oh, he's
Gotta
not,
have
he's
faith.
not gonna go for the points. He's gonna go for the save.
I think it's. Oh no, he sees an opportunity. Oh my god! Holy
Yes,
fuck!
correct.
He's insane.
We're third.
That's why he's the god gamer. We
Oh,
did it!
We're good.
We good.
Giga chat, damn right.
Hey, oh hey GZ, I'm good. This is an intense game.
That was a next level Giga chat move.
Don't worry, he's gonna carry in the Tails game because that's what we're gonna get last. That Jinx game mode. Hog.
I have no
What?
idea what it could be.
It's the football again.
With 4 teams?
Yes.
What the fuck?
He says fuck.
Oh shit. Why did you
Yes.
have to say jinx? You jinxed it.
I jinxed the Jinx. No, it's easy.
This isn't already the final, is it?
Yeah, it is.
What?
This is the third round. This is the quickest final I've ever seen.
Yeah, what? Where indeed. After that Omega sick play.
That was a snowman is jinxed again. But it can't be the final.
Oh yeah,
it's not
yeah. I
the
think
final.
it's two teams on 2 teams.
I got jinxed, so I can help Chris.
Okay, let's see. Get here.
I had a boys.
I don't like Jinx.
Go
to be
for that guy.
honest. I am.
I got this guy. Get him. No! What the fuck? He jumped over us. I was like something out of a fucking comedy right there.
Ooga.
I got him. No.
I got one. I
Oh,
got
pop.
one. Oh.
I got this guy. Get him. Yeah.
I got him.
Yeah.
They're
I see
losing.
some. Okay.
I see
Go on,
3
let's
of them.
Oh. Oops.
Chris,
That's
like,
all right.
I accidentally
Get
grabbed
over
the guy
here,
that was jinxed.
Mug.
Didn't get jinxed.
No, you monkey.
Oh,
Yeah, hold him! Leo! Hold!
I
Hold! Oh, left. Oh yeah.
the
yeah.
monkey. No.
Where's the monkey? Oh, I see the monkey.
Like, no.
Where you monkey?
Oh, just like,
Oh, he fell! I got him!
Robin.
Oh shit, pop. I got this guy. Get him. No, that's me.
Watch out, watch out, watch out for the others.
Oh my god.
Leo, run. There's a guy behind you.
I got this guy.
There's three
Don't worry.
left. The captain's gone up there.
Get
Oh
over
god,
here,
I
you
stumbled. No.
potato.
Don't worry, Leo. As long as one of our team, as long as God Gamer survived.
Where's the other blue?
Get him. Get him.
Get the monkey.
this.
Get the damn monkey.
They almost have him. Almost have him, Leo. Get him in.
I got the monkey.
Shut him.
Where's the captain?
Just the ice cream now.
Grab the captain.
Get
He's
over
okay.
here.
I got the captain.
Okay, I
fuck.
got left, you got right.
Oh.
Oh,
We got him!
yes.
Yeah, we
Yes.
did it! Holy shit.
Bro, that was intense.
Yeah, that was.
Thumbs up.
Had to actually work together as a team. Communicate.
The comms. The
That's
comms.
The comms and Fall Guys. Oh my god.
Then we have to
Oh,
go for
there's two
call
squads
outs.
left. Oh, what's it gonna be? Oh, I swear to God.
Is it gonna be football? Oh, the god game would never get touched.
I got touched straight
Oh,
away because I
fuck.
went running around. No, no, Leo. It's the God.
Oh no.
Don't worry, Chris has got this. Chris is gonna carry, right, Chris?
Wait, what?
Don't worry, we have the god game. He's
Yeah,
showing us
God
why
Gamer and Chris.
it's called that.
Nah, we have the God Gamer. Yes, exactly.
Who's that all by himself?
Not me.
It's the Panda Majesty.
Let's see who's here.
Panda Majesty. Oi.
Hey.
Okay, I'm with the God Gamer.
I'm with the Leo.
Woo,
At the
woo,
same
woo, woo.
time.
Ah!
Oh,
Over to the god gamer.
no, we're separated. I'm with the
No.
reject.
Oh shit.
Oh wait, hold on. What if this is the wrong side?
I'm over here now.
Hey, we're together now.
What if this is the wrong
Oh shit! No! Oh, Monka Monka!
Gentlemen. Gentlemen.
We're committed to the end, boys.
Fuck
I died.
this. Oh,
Nope.
You do what I do.
Yeah, he did.
Don't worry. It seems like it's gonna be that platform. Okay, Leo's got this. I believe in Leo and the God Gamer. How much longer? I don't know. We're going till we win.
there's 3 separated.
Oh,
points.
shit,
Oh,
boys.
boy.
Oh,
Oh,
Ooh, let's go. Pog.
you might have to jump
What?
up into that 2 platform.
oh god, of course.
Go. God Gamer.
Whoa.
You made it.
Yes. Pog.
Oh. How long can they survive?
Until
No, there he goes. What the fuck?
No. Leo's carrying him.
until one gets toxic and starts to push the other on the map.
Oh. One of them almost got gone.
Yeah.
These two are just on a team, so these two are just waiting for Leo to die.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're ganging on me. It backfired on him. Get it right.
But they are nowhere near as skilled as Leo is.
There's the tomato.
Is he gonna try and grab you?
They got nothing.
I hope he learned from his friend.
I hope he grab. Is he gonna try and grab you? What's gonna happen? This is just gonna go on forever.
You just gotta grab him by the grab him
What?
by the nose. Oh.
Oh.
Oh. So fast.
Oh.
This guy just fall.
Fall guy?
Feels late, man. Yeah, can you get this over? I'm trying to sleep here.
Oh, he's getting close.
You guys are ruining my sleep schedule by then.
Yeah. I believe it. Oh, we did it! Hey!
Yo, one to watch. Freak
I
them
told you this was the prophecy. Fuck.
The prophecy.
We all had to throw in order to win.
The prophecy. I mean, I can't believe me and Chris died the same way.
Yeah, both trying to change platform.
Yeah, we should have stuck to it.
Yes.
Oh,
my
we
God.
did it.
Oh. But I just did so many ones. I just did like 100 different challenges. That was the quickest game ever.
Yeah, that was only. Yeah, that was 4 rounds. Holy shit.
I leveled up so much because we won that one game.
Oh my god. Amazing.
We did it. I can sleep now, but I'm probably not. I'm gonna go and pray I'm ready or not.
Yeah, I feel like that might be a good one to end it on for me.
Yeah, thanks for the games, gentlemen.
Problem. That was good.
It's like I was down for a couple games. I take turn.
Oh,
I
yeah, that was
did not
great.
expect to play this long with you. I was like, I'm just gonna play 1 or 2, and then I'll sleep at 2, and then, yeah. No,
I ended up
Yeah,
going
no.
2 hours longer.
yeah, no.
Yeah, he's gone. It's over. The games.
Bad plan, bad plan.
Yeah, ended up having too much fun.
Well, if you guys ever need someone to play this game with, just hit me up.
It's a nice goal. I'm
God.
gonna play this more.
Have a good evening, all.
Yeah, you too. See you.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye. What are you doing, Gov?
I mean, I'm probably ending up well.
Okay.
I'll just you can go and end your stream now with my stream. I'll probably end quicker than you, so I'll be in your chat while you end.
Yeah,
'Cause you stop.
yeah, too.
I just go like with the stand stream and we'll leave call. It was fun. See you tomorrow.
Yep. See you tomorrow for another shit show.
And then we can have chaos.
Yep.
Okay, peace.
Peace.